Hello, and welcome to this episode of GovCast. I'm Sylvia Oakland, a staff writer for GovCIO Media and Research. At the beginning of June, I attended the Special Competitive Studies Project, second annual AI Expo here in Washington, D.C. Top federal and industry leaders shared their insights on the AI revolution, including the Department of Labor's Deputy Secretary, Keith Sonderling. Keith and I sat down for a live chat at the AI Expo about the Labor Department's role in generating an AI-ready workforce. Take a listen.
Thank you so much for joining me, Deputy. I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to get into this conversation.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, let's just start off right into it. What role and how involved is the Department of Labor in this AI agenda from President Trump?
We play a significant role on this because we could talk about staying competitive across the board and building AI, building that infrastructure here in the United States and being the global leader on artificial intelligence. But we need workers to do that. And we need a new generation of skilled and trained workers to be able to execute on the president's plan. And the Department of Labor is playing a significant role in that because we deal with the workforce.
Right.
Everything, not just for making sure that workers are subject to safe workplaces, that they're getting paid properly, that their pensions are okay, our traditional day job, but also the next generation of workforce development and making sure that the federal government is encouraging states and our other partners, whether it's educational institutions or even just corporate America, to start thinking about AI literacy and AI training.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up AI literacy. Whenever we talk about it, I always like to remind people this is like when we first got Wikipedia. You have to check your sources and make sure that it's right and correct. Do you mind talking a little bit about what AI literacy looks like from your perspective?
Well, from the Department of Labor's perspective, it's very clear. And it's ensuring that workers, our current workforce, those who are in current jobs, who do not have jobs, we're looking at in the workforce, but more importantly, now K through 12 education, that we're building that AI literacy from the start to stay competitive. And the president issued two very relevant executive orders relating to the Department of Labor's role in this. One is related to high-skilled apprenticeship jobs, and then the second one relates to that AI education and AI literacy.
Right.
So on the education one, the Department of Labor by executive order now has to work with the Department of Education and the National Science Foundation to start building training models so we can start having students learn AI just like they learn social studies, like they learn math, as early as elementary school. And if we can start making these programs accessible to everyone in school and everyone having that baseline core literacy of AI, whether it's coding, whether it's various technologies, whether it's building the technology, using the technology, deploying the technology, like they learn anything else, that next generation of workforce will be ready for the jobs. The second part of it is the president's executive order on high-skilled apprenticeships. And when you think of apprenticeships, most of the time you think about traditional vocational jobs, such as the building trades, HVAC, pipe fitting, and that's great, and we want to continue those. But the president has asked us to get 1 million new apprenticeships on high-skilled jobs. So we have to open the aperture on what that means, and we have to get people away from thinking that the only way to get a tech job is to go to a 4-year college, to get a PhD from a brand name place. That's the only place you're going to be able to get in big tech, and that's not true. Through the Department of Labor's registered apprenticeship programs, students right out of high school can potentially enter into these tech companies where there's already a talent shortage, and those tech companies can train them any way they want. And they can earn while they're learning, opposed to going to school and then waiting for 6-7 years to getting that job. And what we're seeing now, especially in the tech space, that kids as early as middle school have learned online how to code and can do a lot of these, create companies in their parents' basements while they're still in high school. So, and we're discouraging them potentially from putting that aside to going to get that 4-year traditional degree where they can go start working at those tech companies right away. But it takes a mindset shift for all of this. And we need buy-in from the educational institutions, we need buy-ins from the state, from the workforce development agencies, and more importantly, we need buy-in from the tech companies. And that's why I'm very excited about this conference, that's why I'm here today, is to start saying, hey, there's a you have a talent shortage, you have a labor shortage. You're worried about, you can develop, you can come up with these ideas, but you don't have this team to implement it. And a lot of that is being offshored, or projects are not happening, but those American workers are here, and they're ready to work.
Yeah, I mean, I think about the rural background that I come from, and all of, especially the boys that were in my class that wanted to go into something a little bit more vocational, more technical, and they just didn't have that opportunity, and this is going to provide a really good pathway for those, and I'm so excited.
Like, we're going to go into those trades, we're going to become an apprentice because we can't get into college. There's no college opportunity for us, whether it's about academic, whether it's about interest, and we have to say, no, that is not the case at all.
Yeah.
And let's actually look at those historical, traditional apprenticeship models, the buildings trades being the largest and most used, and let's replicate that for everyone, saying, hey, if you want to use your hands, we have this great job for you. If you want to get into the tech industry, look at all these various tech apprenticeships we have. Building these AI data centers, maintaining them, but more importantly, coding apprenticeships, or just apprenticeships that will get you working on those products right out of high school. I think that's going to excite the next generation of workers, especially a lot of them, as we see, they read the same reports that a lot of the people at this conference are talking about the job displacement and how many jobs are going away. Well, how do we change that narrative and say, no, those jobs may be going away, but here are the jobs of the future, and here's where we want to integrate you in them now, and you can help build part of that.
Exactly. I mean, we think about cable girls that went and ran the phone lines, and people still were able to have jobs after that. And one last question that I have for you that I think is going to be really important is that public-private partnership aspect. We heard in your fireside chat that is going to be a really big driver, and I just would like you to talk about, where are we now, and where do you hope to see us in the future?
Well, it's not going to happen without buy-in from the private sector. And this is a great way where the private sector and government can collaborate, because the government is responsible for ensuring, that, again, like I said, the Department of Labor, that workers have great careers and are in healthy and safe work environments. And it's really on those employers that have to deliver on that, right? So here we're having a workforce shortage in these high-skilled jobs, and that's where the Apprenticeship Executive Order really says it's a priority of this administration to deal with this. And we're going to deal with this right now, and you're going to have to be a part of that. So and part of the executive order on apprenticeships is also reevaluating why apprenticeships haven't really been working outside of those traditional areas, and removing some of those regulatory barriers that have potentially been there. And then the promotion side of it too. And it takes leaders like me to go out and pitch and recruit various companies right away, people, whether they come to us or whether it's going to them. But once we get some of those big brand buy-ins, some of those global tech names to support, and a lot of them are going to and want to, then you will see it flow down from that, saying if this big tech company, I'm not naming any names, is doing it, that every single person in the planet knows and everyone wants to work for, then hey, I'm a smaller startup. Why don't I start an apprenticeship program too, to be able to compete with that? And I think, and then you get small and medium-sized businesses to buy in, where you have a startup, with 20, 30 people saying, hey, we need these skills. Let's get a crop of students out of high school who are willing to learn, and let's teach them our way, because our way may be, the next big startup to completely rewrite the industry. And I think that's really exciting. And the second part of it too is that a lot of the resources that are required for this, tech companies already have.
Right.
So if you think about it, you go get your PhD from somewhere, you start working in one of these big companies, and then they retrain you the way they want. And they have these unbelievable, sophisticated internal learning platforms that they use to teach their employees. Well, why don't we use those to teach people who are fresh out of school on this way, so you don't have to have them unlearn something they've already learned. So I think it's a messaging, it's a narrative, and that's something that President Trump wants us as leaders in his administration to do, and something we're committed to doing, because we have to address this skill and talent shortage right now. And in the president's budget for the Department of Labor, using some of these workforce dollars away from areas that haven't been successful, that haven't been that had that return on investment, to, as the budget says, to make America skilled again.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see where this goes. Mr. Sonderling, thank you so much for speaking with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Awesome.